We've been talking a lot about Star Wars ripoffs lately. Well, I got a direct-to-video movie for you today, which is essentially Rocky and Star Wars mixed together. Did I say Star Wars? Well, maybe Star Trek Deep Space Nine would be more accurate. Armin Shimmerman is in this, and he's about the only one that I can identify. For those that aren't familiar with his work, Armin Shimmerman played Quark on Star Trek The Next Generation and Deep Space Nine, so he's used to being around guys in goofy alien costumes. Then there's this character who's dressed like Bilbo Baggins. He's the only other person I could recognize, but not by his appearance. Just listen to his voice.
Freak! Listen to me, you little tadpole! You are a very rude young man!
If you can't tell, it's the same guy that did the voice of Gizmo Duck on DuckTales.
Mr. McDuck, you just gotta give me the job! Nobody balances a checkbook like I do! Watch!
Truly an all-star cast we have here, isn't it? The main character is some no-name actor, Paul Satterfield or something. I haven't seen him in anything else. But I will say he does look a lot like Christopher Reeve. He's supposed to be the underdog hero. He's Rocky, basically. His name is Steve Armstrong, and he has to box against all sorts of aliens. There's no CGI here. This was 1989, so it's all rubber costumes and animatronics. They couldn't get it into theaters, so it finally made it to VHS in 1991. It's set on a giant barbell-shaped space station where there's a sports event that takes alien creatures from all corners of the galaxy and puts them head-to-head to determine the champion. With this event, there hasn't been a human champion in over 50 years, but that's about to change. Here comes Steve Armstrong. At first, Steve doesn't want to fight, but he's put into a situation where he has no choice. He wins the first match, and after his taste of victory, he can't get enough. Now he's determined to win the title. He's coached in the sidelines by his four-armed friend, Shorty. Or you can think of him as Mickey.
When you got inside on him, he got real defensive. If you can get to his sense of nerve, you can win this fight.
The current champion is this big cyber bull named Horn. But before Steve can fight him, he has to make his way through some other battles first, like the fight with the giant grasshopper alien. What's great about this movie is that they go all out with the alien makeup. And you know, this was in an era when they just throw a few ridges on somebody's nose and call them an alien. There's no half-ass makeup here. Every one of them has a full-fledged extraterrestrial appearance. There's an impressive range of distinct species, like the Cantina sequence in Star Wars. Sure, it's not that good, but this had a really small budget, and you can tell that the effects people actually cared, and that they did the best job they could with the budget that they had. My favorite alien in the movie is the giant sloth-like grasshopper slug that Steve has to fight. I was really surprised when I saw this thing. Look at that guy, he's crazy. The champion cyber bull guy, Horn, also looks pretty good. And there was a lot of attention that was put into the facial expressions.
Armstrong, you die now.
This was all due to the work of John Carl Buckler, who crafted over 75 animatronic monsters for this film. That alone makes this worth checking out. So obviously, some of these aliens are way bigger than Steve. And if they actually fought, one punch from a huge alien like this would kill him instantly. So to compensate for that, there's this device which sets a handicap. It's a machine that averages out the strength between the two opponents. I have no idea how it technically works. It's like warp drive. There's no way to really explain it because it doesn't actually exist. You just have to go with it. The fights themselves are somewhat lacking. Everything is a little drawn out and sloppy. It's sort of like Kirk's fight with the Gorn. So don't expect any high-energy ass-kicking like you'd get from a Jackie Chan fight. There's an evil guy named Rogor that looks kind of like Dracula. He's a boxing promoter and he fixes all the fights so that his side will win. Weasel is his right-hand man, and at one point he tries to sabotage the handicap machine to get an advantage over Steve Armstrong. It's all pretty cliche stuff. While the animatronic work is really good, there is a lot of parts that showcase the film's limited budget. For one thing, Shorty is supposed to have 4 arms, right? But in a lot of parts, his arms just hang down lifeless. That could have been done a little better. There's one part where Horn lifts Steve over his head, and you can notice a security wire that shouldn't be there. It's really noticeable. And during some shots, if you look in the background, the audience are just a bunch of cardboard cutouts. Even the audience in Ring King on NES moved around more than that. If you don't remember that game, don't worry. It literally sucks. Arena is primarily stupid grade B schlock. But I have to admit, while watching it, I was entertained the whole time. I would only recommend this film to people that love super cheesy sci-fi movies. It's an underdog story that's very predictable. As soon as you figure out that it's supposed to be Rocky in space, you'll know what the outcome's gonna be.
Kid, you're a natural. I ain't never seen a faster human in a long time. You got speed, you got muscles. You're gonna eat lightning, and you're gonna drop thunder.
It's even got a brief montage, which is probably required for any self-respecting boxing movie. The only real saving grace of Arena is the high-quality creature effects work. Seeing this, though, is a disappointing reminder that physical costumes aren't used that much anymore. It's really a shame, because when it's well done, it looks a lot more authentic than most CGI aliens. So if watching a bunch of aliens in rubber suits beating the shit out of each other sounds good to you, then hunt down a copy of this on VHS, because you won't be disappointed. The only thing is, it's a shame they never got around to making Arena 2. With the connections that they had, they could have easily gotten the giant grasshopper slug to battle Gizmo Duck. And let me tell you, you do not mess with a duck that has crotch missiles.